there. How's everyone doing? Let me know where you're logging in from. If this is your first time, let me know. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Stacy. All right, guys, just give me a second. I'm just typing in these numbers to pin it. It's 751. Hey, Brooklyn in the house. How are you? Okay, so let's pin this. Okay, so pinned. Sorry, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Mattel says today's your first time. Good morning. Good morning, Zoe from Miami, Maryland, upstate New York. Honey Lips from New Orleans, Tampa, Florida. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Rita. Annie from YouTube, good morning. Good morning, Cleopatra. Good morning, Grace and Gogo. How's everybody doing? Um, Kennedy says your braids look amazing. Thank you so much. Back on. If you're on Facebook and can see me, or YouTube and can see me, can you just comment in the box and let me know you can see me? DJ Els from Arkansas. Hi, my brother actually lives in Arkansas. Hi from Jamaica. And Francis, your first time from Virginia. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Aisha Chidoe. I'm an immigration lawyer and I represent clients with their family immigration, humanitarian immigration, or consular processing. As it relates to the United States, we take cases in all 50 states, so your location is not a problem. You can always schedule a call or a consultation, 407 995 6567, or you can send a WhatsApp to 404 333 8751. My number is pinned on Instagram, and you should be able to see it scrolling through the ticker on Facebook and YouTube. I've been off for a week. My family and I were moving. And if any of you have moved houses, it's very, very hectic. It's been chaos, like lots of stuff going on, still unpacking. But, and today's my 13-year wedding anniversary. So really, I shouldn't be working today. I should be taking the day off. But anyway, I'm here. Okay, you guys can just jump right in, ask your questions. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. TMT Beauty from Chicago, thanks for tuning in. Jumandra says, can someone with a stamp extension due to pending I-751 be a co-sponsor? No. I'm assuming you're talking for a financial affidavit of support. In order to do a financial affidavit of support, meaning the I-864, you want to either be a 10-year green card holder or a U.S. citizen, okay? OA says, good morning. How long does it take USCIS to respond back to an attorney inquiry on VAWA C9 EAD receipt? There is no rule. They can get back to you or the attorney whenever they want. Sometimes they don't even get back to you. They will just handle whatever it is. So like in your case, let's say, I'm assuming the inquiry was because of your work permit. Sometimes they may not respond. They may just issue a new work permit, or sometimes they'll respond and say you're still within processing time. So there's no rhyme or reason. It can take months, it could take weeks. It just really depends. Thank you to all those that said happy anniversary. I really appreciate it. Okay, someone says, can I file, Google Dot says, can I file VAWA while an I-130 has been denied and my wife has been threatening divorce? Will that affect if I have to file for VAWA? So the first question is, Why was your I-130 denied? I think that that's something that would be really critical to know, because if there are potential issues, because typically an I-130 is establishing your good faith marriage. So if your I-130 was either denied because they don't believe you have good faith marriage or something there, you want to look at that, because that has to be addressed in a VAWA application. Now, if your I-130 is denied because your spouse basically withdrew the application, then that's a different story. But assuming, let's say it's the latter, you can apply for VAWA if you qualify for VAWA. Keep in mind that threatening divorce is not considered abuse. You can't force someone to stay married. However, if your spouse is abusive and they want to divorce you, that should not stop you from submitting a VAWA application, because you can still file for VAWA, even if you're divorced. You just have to submit your VAWA application within 2 years of the divorce. So don't wait till after the divorce has been over for 2 years. You always want to submit your divorce. You always want to submit it under 2 years of divorce. Okay. Nasalmu on Facebook says, good morning from New York. Hey, New York. That's my hometown. I have an I-360 petition for a year now. Is that normal time? If it's based on VAWA, that is normal time. Yes. Typically, VAWA cases take 2 years to 2.5 years. So you're still very well within normal processing time. All right, let me take some Instagram questions. Okay. C Squad says, good morning. I received advance parole, but I still have a pending VAWA on I-485. All fees have been waived for my case. Is it okay to travel with my advance parole? Any tips? So C Squash, I don't know you personally or your case personally, so I cannot answer that question personally for you. I can just give you an overview. Typically, when people are approved for advance parole, the first thing that we always want to check is what kind of application did they initially file? So if you filed VAWA adjustment of status as opposed to VAWA with a request for abeyance on an already pending I-485, the approach would be different. So the approach that I'm given is based on if you submitted your VAWA application at the exact same time you submitted your I-485. If you did those two things at the same time, and your VAWA case is still pending, and you don't have any removal orders, any deportation orders, or any pending notice to appear in front of an immigration judge, typically after we've done that search, it's okay to travel. These are the guidelines I always give my own clients when they want to travel. When you want to travel, you want to make sure that, one, not only do you have your approved advance parole both in the green paper, and if yours comes on the EAD card, you want to also take that with you. You must always have a photocopy of, those items as well, put in a different location, because if one gets stolen, you want to have some sort of backup. That's number one. Number two, you always want to make sure that your passport matches the name on those documents that were approved. When you leave the country and you come back into the country, be mindful that there is always a possibility that you can get what we call secondary inspection. And what secondary inspection means is that, normally you go through Customs and Border, they ask you a few questions, stamp, go. Sometimes they can call you back in, we're going to ask you more questions. But, once you have all these things with you and typically you're able to answer the question, even though sometimes it may feel really scary to go through secondary inspection, you should still be able to come back into the US. Okay. Quick question. Is it possible to get a marriage-based green card interview waived if the couple have a kid together? Paradino, anything is possible. The stance that USCIS is really taking now for newer cases that are filed is basically, if it's more likely than true that the couple are in a good faith marriage and they don't have a lot of follow-up questions, it's most likely that you could get an interview bypass. So if you have a kid together, Princess says you're not seeing me on YouTube. Really? YouTube folks, are you guys seeing me on YouTube? let me know if you're seeing me on YouTube. Comment, let me know. Um, if you submit a strong application with all that evidence indicating that that child is yours, you guys are doing life together, these are all your stuff, then you increase your likelihood of getting a bypass. But I want to point something out, guys. Even if they don't bypass you for an interview and they schedule you for an interview, it's nothing to panic about. Just prepare for your interview and show them there that your marriage is a good faith marriage. That's it. How long does it take to get a prima facie after receiving cases transferred to another office? That question I can't answer. Typically, prima facies take anywhere from like 3 to 6 months generally. Majority of the time, if you get a prima facie. If you don't get a prima facie, because they're looking for something, then you would get an RFE saying these are the things that are basically stopping them from giving you a prima facie. Sometimes we have definitely seen, sometimes it's rare, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does happen where they would issue a prima facie determination letter and they'll forget to send it. And then like 5 months later, they'll send it. Or after we've reached out saying, well, what's up? It's been, X amount of months. Why don't we have a prima facie or an RFE? Then they will send it. Okay. Arella Santana says, hello, dear lawyer. What is the maximum time that the work and travel permit is taken in a VAWA case? I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you asking how long they approve you for? If that's the question, then right now it's 2 years. 2 years is what they typically would approve you for, if that's the question you're asking me. Or are you asking me how long it takes to receive it? If that's the question, the maximum is different for everyone depending on how complete your application is. Akinwale, what can one do if your case is saying interview completed and your case must be reviewed for almost 3 years? Definitely want to try and do congressional assistance, ombudsman assistance, or a writ of mandamus where you sue USCIS for a delay. Typically, when you have that, there's definitely some investigation going on into your record, your background. If you've been previously married, they're definitely doing some investigation on that. Let's see what else. Oh, good morning, Rita from Barbados. Okay, let's see. No Fear Dem says, I have a problem. How can I disclose it with you? Please schedule a consultation, 407-995-6567. That would be the best way to get a confidential consultation. Beryl says, from Georgia, do I need a physical evidence or written text for emotional abuse to file for VAWA? Well, I mean, there's not really much in terms of physical evidence of emotional abuse because emotional happens on the internal. So, one of the things that could be helpful is a psychological evaluation, if that is where your core abuse is. Also, 100%, this is a non-negotiable, recommend an account of what happened to you. And that could be in the form of a declaration, personal statement of basically what happened to you that rose to the level of emotional abuse. And then having that therapist being able to confirm it helps. Grace says, what does it mean when your status shows your card is being produced? Woohoo! It means whatever card that is, it means you're approved. Whatever that application is, it means you're approved. Typically, you actually get that the day before an approval, most of the time. So congrats, if that's what it's saying. Latoya says, when can you apply for citizenship if you're given a 4-year extension for your conditional green card? Assuming your conditional green card is based on marriage, typically you can file for citizenship or you can become eligible because, there are other things that you want to consider. But you become eligible for citizenship 3 years from when your conditional green card was first issued to you. One of the things that I always say is that like I'm not a big fan of rushing to citizenship application. If you have a conditional removal where your marriage is not solid and your application is not solid, because you can end up having to reapply again if by the time you get there, you and your spouse are like divorced, and then you have to wait 5 years. So it's one of those things that, like, I need a consultation to really understand where the couple is, or is it just the person filing with the waiver, to be able to say, yeah, I think it's a good idea to file for citizenship, and then you have both done at the same time. So, okay. Let's see. You're welcome, Latoya. Okay. When is the last date on the divorce record to file for VAWA? Is it the initial date of filing or the date of final divorce decree signed? Elizabeth, this is a really good question. And the answer that you're using to calculate is the date that it was signed, the date that the final decree was signed. So if you file for divorce in 2020, and it dragged out and it didn't get signed till 2022, that 2-year expiration, you start counting from 2022. Okay. Um, if I'm filing for my husband and paperwork is at Visa Center, can he still apply for a US visa, considering the paperwork will take some time? I mean, nothing stops him. He could always apply if he wanted to. Nothing stops him. Can unpaid hospital bills hinder your green card approval process? No. At this time, no. Prior administration, when they were doing the well test and they had to run your credit card, they had to run your credit, possibly. Yeah, thank you, all of you. I see all the congrats and happy anniversary on Instagram. Thanks, guys. Someone asked me, can you explain the new public charge question on the I-485? This actually came out in December. What would you like me to explain about it? It's pretty self-explanatory and simple. It's just asking you questions about, if you're filing for a marriage-based case, 100%, you're not exempt from public charge. If you're filing for i.e. widower or like VAWA, humanitarian-based cases, you're exempt from public charge. Basically, they're just looking to make sure that you're not going to be a public charge and require all this long-term benefits that the U.S. government has to pay for. So they just kind of get estimates of what is your income, what is your debt-to-income ratio. It's not as detailed as the previous application from like 2 years ago. So here, it's really just writing it, whatever it is, given an accurate estimate, and hopefully no issues arise as long as you have a financial affidavit to support your application. Okay, Princess Josephine says, first, happy anniversary. Thank you. I'm a permanent resident. My husband came here on vacation. Can I file for him and apply for work permit? I would need to screen you for that. I can't answer the question without really knowing when your husband came here. Visa bulletin, because we go based on the visa bulletin when we're dealing with green card holders filing for their spouses. How long has he been here? Is he still in status, or has he overstayed? So there's just a lot of variables to that. So I would need something to help you. If my citizenship has been rescheduled or canceled, how can I get my appointment? Just, keep reaching out to them, and hopefully they can, schedule you again. After how many years can my mom become a citizen after filing for her to come to the U.S.? For your mom, once she becomes a green card holder, she can become a U.S. citizen 5 years later. She can apply as early as 4 years and 9 months from the date on her green card. Okay. Jay says, my boyfriend beats me and abuses me physically and emotionally. He's undocumented. I filed a police report. And he was arrested by the agency. I guess you're trying to figure out what your options are. Need to screen you. You could possibly have a U visa eligibility, but would need to screen you to see if you're eligible. Latoya says, happy anniversary as well. Hope you have a super duper specialty. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna go away next week for our anniversary celebration. What are the requirements for a marriage-based green card? That's too long to answer. So maybe I'll do a separate live on that. Let's see. Is it normal for your receipt notice to take more than 4 weeks when you file an I-130? Honestly, it's been really, really annoying right now. Like, I feel like USCIS receipt notices are taking much longer than previously. It's really annoying. It's not normal, but that's what's happening, So I will say that 6 to 9 weeks is really what the norm is right now. Excuse me, if you get it earlier, then great, but that's really what the norm is right now. Greetings from New York. Can your visa type play a role in the adjustment status, especially VAWA? Happy marriage anniversary. Charlie Rose, that's a really good question. And the answer is yes. With VAWA, not necessarily, but like if you do an adjustment of status based on marriage, there's certain visas that, you can't file. You can't file an adjustment of status based on the visa you came, especially like if you came with like a C or D visa, like a crewman visa, like those types of visas, you won't be able to do an adjustment of status through marriage. So, that's one example. And then if you're a diplomat, there are other things that go into, or you're a child of a diplomat, there are other things that would go into it to do an adjustment of status. So yeah, it definitely plays a role depending on what kind of visa you came in. Can a 10-year green card holder marry someone who has overstayed their visa? Nobody can stop anybody in this country from marrying whoever they want to marry. It's legal to marry whoever you want to marry in this country. So you can marry whoever you want to marry. Now, if the question is, can you file for them, which is a different question, the answer is, it depends. If they've overstayed, you can only file an I-130 for them. And then they're going to have to do consular processing after getting approved for a hardship waiver. Now, if unless you can show, unless that person has an abuse going on in their marriage, and they've overstayed and they're married to a legal permanent resident, then they can file VAWA and all that stuff. Bob says, removing conditions for almost 2 years now. They sent a 48 months extension letter. Will they just send a green card or require an interview? It could be either or. It could be either or. Okay, happy anniversary. Can you please clear me up on this VAWA case? How long does VAWA standalone take? How long does the VAWA standalone take? And how long do VAWA case files with I-45 take? So typically, most VAWA cases, I always have to put this caveat. All timelines I give are estimates. That's where majority of the people will fall. What that means is there are going to be people that are earlier and people that it happens for later. Most VAWA cases can take anywhere from 18 to 24 months. That is for VAWA, okay? For VAWA. And then once your VAWA is approved, it can take you another 6 months to get your green card, because at that point, you could either be scheduled for an adjustment of status, or you can be bypassed and asked, submit a new medical or submit your medical or whatever the case may be. So that is the timeline. Paul Ninwa says, can a widower that has a green card file for someone that has overstayed his visa? I believe the answer to your question is what I just talked about with the other person that asked about if I have a green card, can I file for someone who's overstayed? Same answer. My marriage-based EAD has been pending for 10 months. Is this normal? I've tried to expedite it twice. Right now, I mean, I would say it's on the latter side of normal. Like 10 months is pushing it. So I don't know what you're or how you're applying for expedite or what your reason for expedite is or why you're not getting expedite. But 10 months is definitely pushing it. Like, if you were a client of mine, I would want to know why is it taking that long, for just the EAD, or is there something wrong with the application, and stuff. Anna says, I got a combination card approved and it's valid until 2025. However, under the AP section, it says CBP can parole you into the US for up to 1 year. Yes, what's your question? That's normal. So does that mean the AP part of the card can only be used for up to a year? No, that's not what it means. It just means for each time. So it depends on what you put in your advanced parole. Did you put multiple entries? Did you get it for single entries? But generally, you can come and go. You can come and go, once you have like a multiple entry and you have it up to 2025. Mana Andrews says, my favorite lawyer, guys. Trust her. She's the best lawyer ever. Keep going, doing the good work, my dear. Thank you so much. Let them know. Gogo says, what's the consultation fee? It's $150. Our consultation fees are actually going up, and our fees are actually going up very soon. Definitely getting your consultations now. And our July 4th sales ends on July... Don't quote me on this. I believe July 17th or July 19th. I have to check. I'm not sure, but we're offering 20% off, if you start your case with us and it's over a certain amount. So this is a good time as any to get your case started. Okay. I'm going to take a few more questions and I got to jump off. Liver says, I love you so much, but I never want none of the money you were giving away during Christmas. Sorry about that. Well, maybe you have better luck this year. Who knows? Africa says, congratulations on your anniversary. I've been married for 1 year. Congrats. But I'm yet to put in my documents. You advise I put it in now for 2 years to get the 10-year green card. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. It's really a family choice, and how does it impact your family? That's you and your wife or husband, not having status right now or having a green card right now. And if there's an impact, you should put in your application now. I mean, if 2-year green card, what's the difference in getting a 2-year green card and a 10-year green card? I mean, yeah, you're going to have to file for removal of conditions, but it's better to have status than to not have status. So generally, I don't advise people to wait. Now, if you're on the cusp, where it's like super close and the odds are more likely that you get a 10-year and it's like just like a month away. So let's put in a month away, but you can never really tell. Because you can put in your application maybe like when you're like 1 month and 1 year and like 6 months, and then your application gets approved 3 months later. So you can still get your 2-year green card instead of a 10-year. Just make sure that if you do put it in and you get approved for a 2-year green card, that you continue to document your marriage. Because when you're applying for removal of conditions on the 2-year green card to get a 10-year green card, a lot of what they're looking at is making sure that you still have a bona fide marriage, and they're looking at the dates you want to have evidence of things that come after the green card. Karen Rithica says, I called to make a consultation, but your book's up until the 25th. I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't know what to do. Like, whenever people tell me this, like I can't not take the appointments that I currently have, like, unless someone cancels. We also have other attorneys at my firm. We are all good. We all work together as a team here. Because you're consulting with another lawyer doesn't mean that I would not work on your case. We all work together. So you can always book one with any of the other associate attorneys at my firm. It's not a problem. Okay. Okay, 2 more questions. I'm going to jump off. Okay, my I-130 has been approved for over 4 months, but my I-485 is still pending for 1 year. Please, can you advise on next steps from here? Well, I guess the question will depend on how quickly was your I-130 approved and how long has your I-485 been pending. If your I-485 has been pending within normal time, I would say just hold on tight and wait. It's probably going to get approved. But again, I don't know what your visa status was or how you entered into the country and all of that stuff. So all those things I would need to know. Now, if the 4 months is outside of normal processing time and it's just been really long, then I would say start with an inquiry to see what's going on with that. Okay. And the final question, let me get a good one. All right, answer this one. Okay. Someone is asking, oh my gosh, it's like as I keep scrolling to answer the question, I get more questions. Let me go back. So someone says, can you submit a VAWA application without a cover letter? I don't recommend it. You should have a cover letter if you can. Okay, I'll take one more because I was quick. Can I do an adjustment of status if my parents have a green card? There's so many variables to that star hand. The question, how old are you? So, you have to be, because the category that you fall into depends on how old you are. Are you under 21? Are you over 21? Also, if your parents have green cards, you cannot be married. A green card holder cannot file for a married child. Also, if you've overstayed your time, they cannot file an adjustment of status for you. They can only file an I-130. And then you're going to have to get approved of a 601A hardship waiver, which would allow you to go back home to finish up the consular processing. So there are just so many variables to answer. But it was great chatting, guys. I will see you guys. I'll be on live tomorrow morning. So if I didn't answer your question, you can come tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be on live. All right, guys. Bye.